proceed with the background.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. And as Judge Moran said, he had came to me and talked to me about doing an RFP to select a commercial real estate brokerage firm to look at the sale of the old Carlton building, Smith County Building 106 and 112 East Elm Street. The first steps in that process was to obtain a survey, which you do have a copy of that before you, from Walker and Associates. The appraisal is scheduled for a walkthrough tomorrow, and I anticipate that we'll have the appraisals back within 3 to 4 weeks. So that will all be brought back to you prior to us signing a contract with any real estate firm, and you will know the appraisal price on that before we move forward. I did present you a copy in front of you of the proposed RFP to be advertised. It was not released in the packet because we can't advertise that bid until the court gives approval, and we can't release the bid until the first date of advertisement. So there was some corrections in there that Commissioner Hampton gave me, and those have been corrected as far as some dates and little lines go on there. And I just ask for your approval.
What questions does the court have about this particular proposal?
So the last time that we done this, went down this road, we just offered it ourselves through bid, right? Is how we did that without a real estate broker.
Correct. The local government code gives you some options on how to do that. One is through a real estate broker. The second one is through sealed bid auction, and that can also, the court could also appoint a commissioner to sell that real estate.
So we'll get an appraisal back from this, telling us what this building is worth, and then we can move forward or not with a real estate agent, right?
Correct. You can do it one of two ways. We can still go ahead and move forward with the request for proposal for real estate agents, because we're specifically looking for someone with experience in commercial sales that could target people that want to invest in a building of like what we have to bring in more funds into Smith County. So we wouldn't use the real estate broker we use to sell the
Right, I understand, but
yeah.
We don't have to move forward with, even if we do this, we don't have to
No,
move
sir,
forward.
we could bring in our proposals and rank them, make a recommendation to the court along with the appraisal report, and then it would be the court's decision to move forward.
Because I'm thinking, excuse me, what I'm thinking maybe is, why do we pay necessarily a real estate agent 6% or whatever they get if we can, if somebody comes back and tells us this is worth $1 million, just number off my head, then if we can get $1 million for our own, why would we pay a real estate agent 6% or whatever? I mean, that's something we look at later. I just wanted to make sure that we're not.
And this is a great question, and when Ms. Gould and I talked about the different options of avenues to go to be able to dispose of property, I asked her to pursue the brokerage so that we could potentially, it's the only option that gives us the ability to put some restrictions in there about potentially who is buying the property and what they're going to do with it. So if we do just a straight bid, it's just by the numbers. So whoever bids the most is going to get the amount of money. But if we go through the brokerage, we have some flexibility to say we want to be able to understand what the use of this property might be on the backside of the sale.
And almost like a deed restriction type thing?
Almost like a deed restriction deal where we can, in the brokerage agreement, put some restrictions in there to help us be able to limit so that somebody just doesn't buy it and let it sit the way it currently is, or buy it and do something with it that's not in tune with what the county wants to do, or what this body wants to do. But it gives us a little bit more options on the front end to say we'd like for something useful to be done with the property. And if we are going to let a private person own this property, and again, it's still an if at this point, this is just giving us some options, but we want to understand that it's going to be useful to the county and to the citizens and get it back on the tax roll in a proper manner.
Can, if we went with this, say it come back and we said that we're just going to sell it, put it up for bid, we know what it's worth, let's just put it up for bid, see what happens. Do you have to accept a bid, or can you turn around and list it with a realtor then?
Well, by the local government code, you have to accept the highest cash offer.
Okay.
I would need to have Philip look into that
Okay.
more
Well,
to
see,
make
that's
sure.
an issue.
But it does say that you have to accept the highest cash
Can't
offer.
put a minimum or anything on it
Yeah, of course you can
of
put a
what it
minimum on it.
appraised at?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can put a minimum on it. The real reason for using a broker, of course, you know, the other thing you can look at is also to make sure whatever firms or persons would be purchasing that property, that they have the funding available to make improvements to that property. And so you could sell it with stipulations. Whereas if we just sold it via a commissioner, then there's no stipulations
And
made.
that's what happened before, is, you know, if y'all remember, we've actually sold.
You did sell it.
Two times, but it never did close, different reasons, but some had one had a hard time getting the money together, I think, for the completion and investors. So perhaps there's some way to, with the realtor before, we've had them pay the buyer, pay the commission. And, correct?
Well, yes, and like our Lake Palestine property, we stipulated that the buyers paid all closing costs. So we can make,
But not the realtor's fees.
we can
right?
make those stipulations.
Yeah, we might do that.
however we
You know,
want
if this
to.
goes forward and this body decided to do that, you know, I don't know if a performance bond is something you can request, that they actually can do the work that they're wanting to do. If we don't think we can do it.
Kim, can you refresh my memory on what we spent to do a feasibility study or check the construction of that building? It was 50 or 60,000?
I believe it was. I was not involved in that,
Oh.
so I'm not sure.
I want to say it was in the 50s, I think. You know, so structurally, we know what the building is. You know, there's like any other older building, there's a lot of rumors, but it could, if somebody has the money to redo it, make them.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, a previous court, also Commissioner Hampton was on here. Didn't y'all spend some money on doing something to that building,
We did,
studying it or something?
yeah, we did a study as well. So we've done two studies. We tried to sell it twice, so maybe the third time will be the charm.
We'll see. So nothing binding on this court today, but this gives us an avenue and some options going forward to see what the market might bring for that. Any further questions? Those are all good questions. All right, is there a motion to authorize the advertisement receipt of sealed proposals for real estate brokerage services for the sale of county property located at 106 and 112 East Elm Street pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 263008?
That would be my motion.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Phillips, second by Commissioner Hampton. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item number 2, consider and take necessary action to set a public hearing for the Smith County 2016-2017